in the world of martial arts. He is a martial artist, an actor, producer, director. He does stunts, he does choreography. I am talking about Tommy Lee, aka Phillip Rhee. How are you today, sir?
Hi, Corey. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you so much for doing this with us.
Absolutely. It's a pleasure.
I guess my first question I have to ask is now I know you do because I also do martial arts, and martial arts is a very big thing to me. You're incredible at taekwondo, but I also noticed, do you study hapkido too, or did you at one point?
Oh, absolutely. Originally, it started with Taekwondo, but there was a way from Maximilian Choi in San Francisco, and my brother Simon and I, we both also train Aikido as well.
I liked it. Now you actually did compete for the U.S. team against the South Korean team in taekwondo, correct?
That is correct. That is correct. But in respect to my martial arts background, my brother and I, we studied various of different styles. Not only Taekwondo and Hapkido, I trained in Muay Thai, and my brother was training in San Francisco with Wing Chun, with Shang, one of the ones in San Francisco. And so we, gravitated to all martial arts. And the reason being is because every martial art has a what can I say? There's a power and there's a weakness. And so, for instance, let's say if you do Hapkido, you could throw um, and take people onto the ground, but doesn't have a lot of kicks and elbows and punches. Taekwondo is great kickers, great, phenomenal kicks. But when you see the Taekwondo, it doesn't use a lot of hands, especially in competition. So, and Kung Fu has fluidity and beauty. Um, so, every martial arts has the yin and yang. And in order for somebody to really be great at something, you have to learn many different types of martial arts. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
my
yeah.
son is a big admirer of yours. Best of the Best 2 is one of his favorite films. He started studying taekwondo after that. He's got his junior black now. Now he's doing kenpo karate because, well, he really liked the Perfect Weapon movie too.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, it's important to learn the art properly. I'm glad your son learned all the way through black belt and then transitioned into another style to learn, which is good. But a lot of people, they try to do it too fast. They don't know the fundamental, the art, let's say Taekwondo, and they jump to something else, and they jump to something else. That's not good. They should learn properly, get to the black belt, then learn another style, and so on and so forth. That's what I recommend, and that's what we did.
Yeah, I stayed till second belt for Tang Sudo. Then I started studying judo. Still when I was younger. Now I actually am doing kenpo with my son as well. But the pandemic kind of prevented us. I don't want to go on a mat that's a petri COVID, so we haven't been to the dojo now in about 5 months.
I know the feeling.
We
Exactly.
work the bag at home.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you've been training for a long, it's like fishes have to swim. You can't stay. And it's interesting, more so than ever right now, people need to exercise. Whether they go out to the park, they go out or inside their house or their apartment, because if we don't exercise and work out, our immune system gets weaker. and work out, it helps our immune system. So I would recommend that to everybody. Don't just stay at home. Go out, run, work out. That's the best.
It is. I'd work out every day. I have to, even if I can only squeeze in 45 minutes or so. You still got to get a little exercise in on you.
That is true. That's good. Yes, absolutely.
Now, martial arts was your end game to become, because you kind of broke in during the big action craze. Did was acting always the end game, or were you? How did you get into that?
Well, I trained under Grandmaster Chong in Los Angeles, and Master Chong was already getting into making movies, and in Japan and LA, and basically he brought us in, and we did stunts together, and I started to get the bite, and I said, you know what, this is something that I would love to do. And so I went to acting classes and just worked my butt off. And one day I knew that I would get a break, and that was my belief system. And well, I mean, we did a lot of crazy things in terms of getting hurt in doing stunts, and actually we were getting into a situation where the only way for us to get into the film business is for us to create the story. Because if we don't create the story, we will always be stunt guys, and we will never get a shot. So that's what happened in terms of starting with Ninja Turf, and then we did Assassin, Sam Jones, who was the Flash Gordon.
Yeah, great guy, great guy.
Yeah, Sam's great, and he trained with us for many, many years, and he's like a brother. And you know, we see him every once in a while, but yeah, Sam, we did a movie with Sam Jones, and that thing was acquired, and yeah, they just putting the grind, work hard, trying to find the pieces and how to get it done, and that's what I did.
The L.A. Street Fighters, but I do remember the VHS boxes because you know the ninjas were hot. So Ninja Turf, that was a predominantly Asian film. Was and I remember when Don the Dragon, when they did Ring of Fire, they said when they took in out the taking out the ad for that, like every Hollywood had shown up. That was a pretty big. Your movie came first, so that was a pretty big breakthrough for everyone there. I mean, that's something to always be proud of. What was it like being on a film like that? Because there really wasn't a huge Asian population in film until, truthfully.
Yeah, there was none. Only movies that came, the Kung Fu movies, was from Hong Kong. And I think the Turf was probably one of the ones that was made in the USA, because before there was none.
And you
Yeah,
got to see the great James Liu in a very early watch on Ninja Turf as well. He's been around longer. Well, if you listen to the interview, he's been around a long time. But that's another one of his lost classics as well.
and I mean, he was the antagonist picture, and he did a terrific job. He really did a terrific job.
You've had
And go ahead.
you've had quite a long working relationship with him. Did it all come about from that film?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, we go back probably more than 30 years or more. To think of it. Yeah.
Your
And
brother. Oh, I'm
James
sorry.
did lot of movies, a lot of movies. He probably did over 100 movies, I think. And in respect to my brother, very close with James because they all do stunt coordinating now by choreographers. And
No, I was gonna ask your brother. Who's who I've also talked to. He's done so much fight choreography, so much stunt work. A lot of it too during the PM Entertainment. You kind of didn't stayed away from all the stunt work. Like really your thing? Were you more into being in front of the camera and like the acting side?
right, that is correct. Yeah, because I wanted to write my own things. I wanted to write. I wanted to produce. That was it. And I don't know if you know this story. After doing Best of the Best, I get a call from a gentleman by the name of Alex Ho, and I didn't know who he was. And he said, Philip, I want you to come into our office to meet my partner. And I said, who is that? And Alex said, just come in. We saw your movie. We think that you're talented. Why don't you come into our office? And I said, who's your partner? And he goes, just come in. I said, who's your partner? And he goes, his name is Oliver Stone.
Wow.
And I said, I'll be there. And when I went there, we were talking about Best with the Best, and they asked me, what do you have next? And I wrote a script, a friend of mine called Cato. It had nothing to do with the Green Hornet Cato. It was my version of Cato. And so I showed it to Oliver Stone, and he liked it, and he took me to Warner Brothers and got me a 3-picture deal at Warner Brothers. And then he brought a director new in the United States, and that gentleman's name was John Woo.
My favorite director.
And John and his partner, Terrence Chang, Oliver Stone, so they were supposed to, so everybody came on board, and we were going to do this movie, Cato, starring me. And then something terrible happened, actually, because the executives at Warner's, they didn't know John Woo very well. And they made a comment saying, why do you want to use this guy? Sync sound. Because in Hong Kong, everything was shot without sync sound because it's very noisy. So they would dump the dialogue in. And so on top of that, the offer they made to director John Woo, not a lot. So it was kind of disrespectful. And so Universal heard about it and brought John Woo to a picture that Van Damme did. I think it was
Hard Target.
Target. Thank you.
Great movie.
And I lost an opportunity to work with John. But that is life, that is life. But John did a terrific job, and after that, he just really like sprung out and did the Mission Impossible, and I mean, he's a terrific director. I still very much love his work, very much.
Is there any other directors you've always wanted to work with that you haven't had a chance to yet?
Uh, Not right now, not anything that I'm thinking about right now. But there's a lot of great directors. I mean, there's a lot of great directors. There's a lot of great, and I think it's all about chemistry, all about timing, all about financing, all about distribution. It's a big puzzle that needs to be put together, and it takes a lot of work, a lot of trepidation, a lot of um, patience to get a picture off the ground. So, but these days there's like Chad Chlesky, uh, his partner David. There's a brother of mine named J.J. Perry. He, I mean, he started with the stunt, and he was with me when I was doing Best of the Best Three. And then now he is one of the top stunt coordinators. On top of that, he's going to Chad producing for him at 8711. So proud of JJ, and in fact, a lot of respect for Chad and David because they started from all of, like us. We started as a stunt coordinator. And now they're on top of their game, and it's really great to see.
How
Yeah,
hard was it? Hard at all for you to get Best of the Best? The first one, was it hard to get off the ground, or was there interest in that right away?
actually, what happened was the movie Silent Assassin. The Silent Assassin was done with Master Jun Chong, and we sold it to a guy named Jonathan Crane, who was the manager for John Travolta, and they were getting into distribution. And so between Jonathan Crane, his company, and Sony, they were interested in Silent Assassin. So, but at the end of the day, Jonathan Crane's company, they offered us a lot of money. So we went and sold it to Jonathan Crane's company. Then Sony, came back and said, Philip, we really wanted to buy Assassin, but what do you have next? I said, well, I have something. And they said, what is it? And it's called Best of the Best. And he goes, what is it about? So I told him the story. Then he goes, oh, that's interesting. And they asked me, I said, do you have a script? And I had the script done already. So I sent it to them, and within 1 week, within 1 week, there's a guy, love the story, we're in. We
Wow.
will buy, we will acquire for the domestic, and so we had our territory national, and so that was how Best of the Best was made.
Were you involved in the casting of it as well, or was that up to the studio?
No, I mean it's a collaboration, and we had our list. We loved James Earl Jones, Eric. Eric is terrific. He's such a great actor, and physically he did a phenomenal job. I mean, he did dance and workouts, and Chris Penn also great, great. Just everybody. I mean, it was a blessing that everybody came together, and it was a. We didn't know how it's going to turn out, but it became one of the most iconic martial arts sports movie of all time. And I don't know if you know that. Do you know John Campion by any chance? Have you heard of him?
Mm-hmm.
Um, I forgot what that. He did a review, and it was fun. And pick 15 most inspirational movie of all time, sports movie, and we made it, Best of the Best made it into that Fandangos, and along with Rocky. So that was awesome. And the other one, it was AMC movie review that John Champion did, and yeah, he praised it so much, you know, be thankful enough.
Yeah, I've written a few pieces about the Best of the Best series, and I mean, they're so, so well, highly read, well received. Just, because your fans just all over the world with that film. It's incredible, actually.
Yeah, what I wanted to really wanted to do is because I wanted to elevate the genre. Um, I had Hong Kong movies, and they used to call it chopsaki movies, and I was kind of offended. And I said, martial arts is a genre, but people are saying it's a chopsaki movie, low budget chopsaki movie, and that was not cool. So I said, let's elevate the genre and let's bring in some really great actors, and that's what we did.
Did you and your brother work with Chris Penn for the fighting, or was he training with Don the Dragon even back then?
Um, we were training with everybody. I mean, Chris used to box, and at that time he was training with Don. Don also is a terrific fighter, very, very accomplished kickboxer. But I don't know at that time if Don was training him. Maybe, I don't know.
Now, the one thing, like, I like Best of the Best. It was a good film, but the one I loved is Best of the Best 2. Now,
Oh yeah.
what was, because I'm more into the underground arenas of death, a timeless story in this action fan's eyes. What made you take that franchise and spin it into more of an R-rated fight to the death kind of film?
Well, I wanted to make a bigger picture, not just focused on martial arts. And at that time, I mentioned to you, me and my brother studied many different arts, and the thought was, why don't we bring various different martial fighters from many different disciplines and put them together in an arena. And what's interesting is that I wanted to have it in Las Vegas, and basically that's the reason. I wanted to create something that was a little bit different than what we had seen before.
And now I thought, and so disrespect at all to the first one, but like when Best of the Best 2 came out, I was like a lot of people like, but when we're going to see it now, first time watching in the theater, it's like, okay, this is Eric Roberts' movie. Eric Roberts is going to fight Baracus. And then when he's like, did you kill Travis Brickley? And then it's you that actually throws the kick, cuts his face. Then it's like, oh, okay, this is Tommy Lee's film now. So I don't. That's when I first was like, wow. Now we've got now you've come front and center to me. Where in the first one you kind of shared. Where in part two, that's when you really, I think, in my opinion anyway, broke through. Like you are the leading man with that one kick.
Actually, I can. It was it was our film. I cannot say it's my movie because without Eric, the movie would not have been the way that it came out. So I take 100% credit for that. But one of the things that was really unfortunate when Best of the Best 2 released from 20th Century Fox, day of the release, the whole back east shut down because they had a snowstorm.
Hmm.
Can you imagine that?
It's half the audience.
It was half the audience could not go out, whether in New York, Jersey, I mean, everything, Boston, it was shut down. It was a 100-year storm. And the movie could have been so much bigger because there was a lot of anticipation on that movie. And we did okay. But we could have done a lot more in terms financially and in terms of notoriety of the picture. And yeah, that was very unfortunate.
Now, to ask, because everyone has wanted to know this for years. Now, the great Sonny Landham played
Yep,
James. He played
yep.
your uncle, I believe. How,
Uh,
or was he your brother?
brother,
Your brother. How were you guys related? They that like Tommy Lee just went to his grandma's house. His grandmother was Native American, and Sonny Landham was your brother, but that was never covered. Were you adopted?
it was insinuated. Yes, I mean, the grandma kind of raised me, kind of a thing, but it was not very. Yeah, it wasn't clear. But that was supposed to be the story background.
Was Sonny like? Did he have to audition, or was he your choice for that going in?
It was just going in. I said, we got to get Sunny Landon. 48 hours. Um, what was the other one?
Predator.
With Predator, yeah. Sunny was great. The guy was just terrific. Terrific to work out. Funny, just when he gets into his role, he's just right on it. And he was terrific. He was terrific.
Anyone
Yeah.
that stops a fight midway to throw up their whiskey and then wants to continue fighting, I mean, that's an iconic performance. It's my favorite performance of his because he actually had a lot of lines in the film. It was in your chemistry together was awesome. It's a shame he's no longer with us.
Yeah, I know, I know. But you said something that is very important right now, and that is chemistry. Chemistry. And when you put an ensemble together, if the chemistry is there, it's great. But if the chemistry is not there, oh boy, there was a lot of fighting, arguments, stuff like that. Yeah, but chemistry is really important in the film, I think.
Wayne Newton was great. He was a great choice for a bad guy. It's a shame he didn't do you know, he's done a handful of movies and television. Shame he didn't do more. He was the owner there of the Coliseum.
He was, I mean, he would fly into, he would fly, he has his own helicopter. He flies in from Las Vegas to LA, go back and forth. Yeah. And at the same time, as soon as he's finished his scene, he would fly back to Vegas and does a show. And then next morning comes back. But he's such a terrific guy. He's such a gracious and terrific, terrific guy. And also, he studied martial arts. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he studied karate. Yeah, he definitely. Yeah, he was great. He was funny, but he's such a talented individual. I really, I was very glad that we had Sonny, we had Eric, we had, all the Wayne Newton, my brother. It was a big ensemble, and I'm always grateful for that.
Where did you find Baracus?
Baracus,
That guy was a monster.
yeah, yeah. Our director found it. and he me the photo. He goes, "Fella, what do you think?" And I said, "Whoa, this guy is pretty big, but can he move? Because he's a bodybuilder." And we met, and he put him into training, and then he was great. I mean, this guy, for a big guy like that, for him to learn so fast, and Rolf, his name is Rolf from Germany, but he really trained hard. We all trained together. My brother trained him, and the end result was terrific because he was believable, and he was able to move fast, and yeah, he's terrific. And then he went into Gladiator and really did a lot of movies after that. So yeah, that was terrific.
I always liked the big fight that you had with all the different people in the Coliseum. A capoeira fighter. We saw some kung fu. We saw Muay Thai. You got to see staff work. I always like when all the styles blend together. And then, yeah, your fight with Brackus at the end. He could throw nice kicks. He moved really good for a guy that size and height.
Exactly. And but more so, he's again great guy, and he doesn't have a chip in his shoulder. A lot of guys have chip on their, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But he was so humble because he was a huge celebrity, I believe, in Germany. Yeah. So, and his very close friend is even today is Arnold.
Now, when you did Best of the Best 3, which I'm a pretty big fan of, actually. I really like that. That's actually my second favorite of the series. Eric wasn't in that one. When I had it wasn't really his thing, but was he originally going to be in it, or was this just going to be breaking off into your own vehicle?
That one, I wanted to break out into my own to start, and it's something that I had to do it. I don't know if you know the story. I was in an airplane and saw a magazine, and it was about an Asian kid. I think it was like these guys stomped him to death, and they were white supremacists, unfortunately. And the last thing that he said before he died, and he said, "I'm into your country." And that was such a sad story for me. And I said, I want to do a very sensitive story, but it's got to be done in a way that I wanted to do. Because for me, always, it is not about race. Even today, it's not about race. For me, it's character. There's good people, blacks, and there's troublemakers. There's good Asians and bad Asians. There's good whites and bad. It's character. And we were putting together the script, and at the end, the Tommy Lee was to kill the head of the white supremacists. And I said, no, that's not the way to do it. If we do something like that, it would just inflame more hatred. That's not me, you know. So we changed it, and if you saw it, that Tommy Lee's character do not kill the bad guy at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's within their uh, own guys. They're the one who took him out, not Tommy Lee. And we beat for people. And that's, that's one of my philosophies. It's bring people together, and uh, when people together, it doesn't matter what color you are. You know what I mean? So that's why I made Best Dream.
And that
And we
was
had a great,
Oh, I
you
was
know,
gonna say you had what Shooter McGavin, as we all call him now, as your brother-in-law. You had Gina Gershon, one of the most beautiful women in the world. I mean, yeah, you had a top to bottom, good story, good cast, good score in the movie too. I was always very impressed by the instrumental score of it.
yeah, yeah, just terrific. Gina, right after that movie, um, she got a big role right afterwards. I forgot that movie is.
Was it
And then she also did a
Showgirls?
showrunner, yeah, Showgirls, and did Face Off with Travolta
Great
and
movie.
yeah, and actually John Woo directed that one
Yeah,
also with Nick no not Nick Nicholas Cage. So yeah, yeah, she's terrific. She's a great gal, great friend.
she even got to be in the Steven Seagal movie Out for Justice. So she crossed paths with two martial artists in her career early on.
Did she do a movie with?
Yeah, she was at Out for Justice. She was the bad guy's sister that Seagal arrests.
Oh, interesting, interesting, interesting. I forgot about that. That means I'm getting old.
Or you just didn't watch a lot of Seagal movies. That could be it too.
Like Cigar had, it's, I don't talk bad about anybody else. Cigar, Cigar, when he came out and he showed his way of the Aikido and stuff, and I applauded him, you know. Um, there's a lot of stories that I will not even, say anything, but a lot of people did not like Seagal because of his attitude. But a lot of celebrities, when people become successful, their egos get bigger and their attitudes change. And that's what happens in our industry. And so, the movies, I liked Steven Seagal's movies. I did.
Now, when you finished Best of the Best three, you came back with Best. I like that one too, but that was like different. I don't know how to explain it. It didn't have the same kind of tone. It was a really good
Nope.
action movie, but it seemed like it was just a little bit different. Were you trying to go into a different direction now, or is that trying to get?
Yeah, I'll tell you the story. I got a call from the Weinstein's company,
Mhm.
Barbie Harvey's Weinstein's company, and they wanted to do Best of the Best three. And I said, guys, um, 20th Century Fox has it. They have the first right of refusal. And they said, just get it out. And I said, I don't know why I said that. I said, if I get it out, I want to direct it. I'm going to star in it. I'm going to produce it. Okay with it. And they said, beep, 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 silence, silence. And then they said, just get it out. So I went to Fox and I got it out and they wrote me a check and Best Three. And Best Three did really well. And then I get a call from the Weinsteins again and said, Phillip, we want to do Best Four. I said, Best Four? I don't have a script. I don't have anything. I don't have a story. Then he goes, we don't, you star in it, you direct it, you produce it, you write it, and we write you a check. Those things don't happen in Hollywood like that.
No.
So I had to quickly put together. and made a movie. But I think that I could have done much better. And the lesson to all of this is do not follow money. Follow your passion. Follow your passion. Money will come. But if you follow the money, your creativity, your thoughts, your passion is not there because you're focused on the money. Very good lesson for me. So that's how Best of the Best 3 and 4 was made.
Where's part 5?
Part 5. Corey, you're making me laugh, Corey. I cannot tell you this right now, but right now there's things are percolating. Let's just leave it at that. Pretty big, and we're in the process. So when it's definitely on, then I'll reach out to you and let you know.
Because I mean,
Promise.
I had the idea he still owns the school that you left when you went on vacation, and now he's being shaken down by like Asian mobsters, James Wu, your brother, and Don the Dragon. So he has to call Tommy Lee, a percentage of the school, to go back and help him in the old neighborhood.
Corey, are you writing a story?
I think that would be. I always have all these movie sequel ideas, and I'm telling you that could work.
Thank you. Thank you for thinking of me. Thank you for your kindness.
Yes, I think everybody hopes that we get to see another one, and that's great news. Then you did Underdogs. I enjoyed that. I like a good family martial arts film. There's not very many of them, and that was real good. Even my son, he was still younger when he saw it. He's still little now, but we just had a good time watching it. And then that was just a great film. How did you get inspired to do that one?
Well, I'll tell you a story. Many, many years ago, in our martial arts studio, I was in the restroom, in the locker room. And kids came in and they were talking about it, one another. And they said, hey, um, did you see Master Ree's movie? And the other kid goes, yeah, what did you think? He goes, yeah, it was great, but, he teaches us to be humble, to be respectful, but he was killing everybody. And that was really cute, but they were right. They were right. And so I said, one day, I don't know when, but one day I'm going to make a movie for kids. And that's a promise that I made to myself. So many, many years later, I said I'm going to do it. And I guess probably over 20 years later, I wanted to do it, so I did it. So I didn't have a lot of money to do it, but it was a terrific movie and a lot of great actors came on board and, Don Wilson, the Dragon, Bo Bridges, Greg Grunberg. I mean, there were so many people who came to help just because, we wanted to make a kids movie. So, and that did well. It was picked up by Lionsgate and Stars, the parent company. So, yeah, so that's something that I wanted to promise. I made a promise, so I fulfilled the promise.
Have you ever thought about doing, because like Cobra, rightfully so hot right now. Have you ever thought about doing
Yeah,
like a television show?
I do have some thoughts on that, and we are in development. Yes,
Would it be the best of the best television show?
I cannot tell you that right now.
Are there Are there any martial artists out there now that you would?
I mean, there's a lot of great people. There's a lot of. But I mean, there's Tony Jazz of the world, and you got Scott Atkins of the world. There's a lot of people out there. Mark Dacascos is great. Who else? Jeez. I mean, there's a lot of great martial artists, and me, it's not about just making a fight movie. I'm really focused on a great story, and it's not easy, Corey. If it's just a fight movie, yes, I could just type it up and go, but that's something that I don't want to do. And I've been offered a lot of money for some of the movies, and it just didn't gravitate me. It wasn't for me. It was, it just was not for me. So I could have made a lot more money, a lot more movies in that genre. But I don't know. I'm a pretty stubborn guy in terms of what I want, and at least at the end of the day, I want to be proud of what I created and make. Um, but the next generation is my son, Sean Rhee. My son, he's phenomenal. He's only 20 years old, and he studies various different martial arts, and yeah, he's going to be the next one.
Are you writing a script for him?
Possibly. But he has. So I'm thinking about various different stories. So we'll see. We
Is
will see.
is there ever a role that you turned down that you regretted?
Well, um, no, I did not. I did not because I wanted to do what I wanted to do, but producing and there was one deal that fell apart. That kind of was disheartening. We did a three-picture deal with Village Roadshow, who did Matrix. And it was me, Gene Kirkwood, producer of Rocky, Babylon Mandel, City Slicker, picture deal for $9 million. And that was a lot of money at that time. And then we, went out, celebrated, opened up champagne. And then a year later, the chairman of Village Roadshow, Greg Coote, he was another executive came in and he was out. And the new executive president came on board, completely wiped out Greg Coote's slate. So it's a crazy business, Corey. It's a crazy business. You can make a lot of money one day, and you can lose a lot of money the other day. So it's really it's not stable. As an actor, stability is very tough. You could be a the best actor for a sort of a new person come in and they're out. So for me, I wanted to not just be an actor. I wanted to understand how the business works. And that's why I started to produce, because I knew nobody could fire me, basically. Yeah.
Do you have any advice for people now that are wanting to get into, say, writing, acting, stunt work? Any advice for people trying to break in?
Yeah, I mean, I know there's so many people out there who are very talented and they don't get a shot. What I would recommend is now everybody has video camera. You could even do it on your iPhone, uh, and you know, put music together and put a light or your and just send it out. Before we couldn't do that, but now you put it on YouTube. A lot of people could see it. And the most important thing is, if you want to be an actor, go to that. If you want to be a martial artist, go into the martial art class. You got to study. You got to study, because once you're good at something, then you have confidence. And when you have confidence, there's a certain energy between people. That energy, you cannot see it, but you can sense it. So when you walk, for instance, Corey, just by you and I talking to each other, I know who you are, and I think you know who I am.
Correct.
So when you see people and you see good people, there's a without, if you find people, that energy, whether it could be a woman, or it could be a guy, or it could be a grandma or grandpa, the eyes see each other, and you just smile at each other. But certain people that come towards you, and you look at them in their eye, there's activity and a lot of bad energy. So there's, so that is something that I'm beginning to understand and trying to learn more about that, people's energy. And when you have good energy and a lot of people gravitate towards you, then things will happen. And my recommendation for the upcoming action stars, work your butt off. You gotta work. You gotta work really, really hard. 2, you cannot succeed by yourself. You gotta have a team. You gotta have people around you. You bring people who could write for you, and somebody could really graph your talent. And a lot of people who try themselves, it's very difficult. You got to have a team. You got to have a team. So that's what I would recommend.
I won't take up much more of your time. I'll end it here because I know this is for those listening. This is actually being recorded on a Sunday morning, so I'm early. Do you have any words for everything going on right now with the coronavirus and all the just turmoil basically in our country? Do you have any words you'd like to before we go?
Yes. If there's one word, is kill people with kindness. Kill people with kindness. That's something that we all need to do. Does that make sense?
It does. It does to me. And I'm sure it
Yeah.
does to everybody out there listening.
Yeah, I think it's really important. These are really extraordinary times, and a lot of people are hurting. And I think that the peace officers, I just heard that everybody's quitting. This is not worth it. And also, one of the things that I'm really ticked off about is the media. Media is flaming this whole pandemic and the riots. And I understand they have to make money, but the media flames the fire much bigger than it, because when we see the media and what they just focus on, when I see that, I get upset. I'm sure when you see it, it gets upset.
I try to avoid
But
reading it.
so instead of that, all the bad stuff happening, if the media shows people helping each other, the firefighters pulling people, car accidents and all the pig yellow, they go in and pull the, the person who's got into a car accident and they pull them out, that inspires people. But when we only see just fighting each other, spitting at each other, cursing at each other, that is not the right way. It just gets people more aggravated. So I would all everybody put up good stuff, and humanity would be much better. And don't look at because it's going crazy, and they love it. They love it, And I get it. That's what they're supposed to do, but it's too much. It just makes people very angry. People with kindness, That's my 2 cents.
I say avoid the news and watch Best of the Best too. Thank you so much for doing this. I'll let Branscombe know you said hi. Thank you for taking your time out of the day for this. I really do appreciate it.
No problem, Corey. I thank you again.
Thank you for your time, ladies and gentlemen. You have been listening to the Chronicles of Hollywood History.